Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Versus Live. That's Ross Merriam. I'm Todd Anderson. We've got Rob over in the booth. All week this week, we've been working on potential reprints that we could see in Modern Horizons. It's the thing that all I've seen on Magic Twitter recently is people talking about what cards they want to see reprinted in Modern Horizons. They're not even taking into consideration the new cards that could be. We got 2 new cards already. We got Cabal Therapist. We got Sarah
the Benevolent.
Sarah the Benevolent, the new White Planeswalker that encapsulates that classic, iconic Sarah Angel look. Very excited to try both of those out in actual Modern, because those are the guaranteed cards from Modern Horizons. But we've been working a lot on a lot of different things that we think are potentially a little too powerful to see print, but are right on the edge. We've also tried out cards that are way too powerful with Hymn to Torok, but at the same time, you never know. They might want to shake things up.
Yeah, and a lot of it has been, like adding cards to old archetypes to see if we can punch them up a little bit. Some of them are classic archetypes that we think may get reinvented in Modern if they get enough new tools. And we have a little bit of both here in this last match. Mm-hmm. Todd is more of the latter. This is a classic Magic archetype that is missing its namesake card, but might be in Modern Horizons. Tell them what you're playing, Todd.
Okay, so I'm going to be playing Izzet Standstill. Now, Standstill is a card from Odyssey block that for 2 mana you get an enchantment that says whenever any player plays a spell, the Standstill breaks and the other player draws 3 cards.
You sacrifice the Standstill.
Yeah. It's a card that really benefits you if you play either like an early threat, a turn 1 threat, and then to a turn 2 Standstill. We saw it a little bit in Legacy a while back with like Nimble Mongoose because it had a Shroud. Some people would sideboard 1 or 2 in their Temur Delverdax to like turn 1 threat. Turn 2 Standstill was just huge. But what reminds me of Standstill mostly is the creature lands. And creature lands were just so strong with a card like Standstill because they allowed you to get underneath your own card and underneath that kind of shroud that Standstill adds to the game that you're playing. Because once you play Standstill, it becomes a different game. It's either a 2 mana draw 3 immediately, like you got to crack it immediately, or you're going to play this long game where both players are just kind of staring at each other, waiting for the other one to break it. And the person who has the most creature lands is the person that's going to be ahead. And we're trying to do that today with our 4 copies of Mutavault. And we even have a lot of little synergies with the Mutavault, but we'll get to that as the game progresses. Now, because of the inherent card advantage built into Mutavault, and I'm not really into Standstill, I'm not going to crack it if I don't have to. I'm going to force Ross to do it, and I can force Ross to do it with just playing Mutavaults, but also I'm just going to cast it early enough where if he lets me develop and hit all my land drops, I'm going to beat him in the long game because his deck is literally just a ramp deck. Right? And I think that is where the strength of Standstill lies. If you can play that before your opponent gets anything developed, there's a good chance you just play out your lands, finally find a Mutavault, and then you start chipping them away and force them to break it.
Yes, so that's really where Mutavault comes in. It definitely forces the action under the Standstill. You mentioned the 2 ways that Standstill games tend to play out. You either just break it immediately and bite the bullet, or you try to play through it and position yourself to win the post-Standstill game, or even force its controller to break it. When you're playing that latter kind of style, you really want to have instant speed things to deploy and break it on their end step when they have a full hand, and both of you have a bunch of lands, and you force them to draw 3 and either tap out on their own end step to cast spells and not have to discard, or forego a lot of the value from Standstill by discarding to hand size. Right. My deck does not have a lot of ways to do that, so you're going to see me just breaking Standstill immediately and try to power through it.
Yeah, and that's going to really strengthen a card that I actually want to try alongside Standstill, which is Disrupting Shoal. Now, Disrupting Shoal, a lot of people have compared it to Force of Will in the past as a very, very bad version, right? But I think that it really struggles from the fact that a lot of the decks in Modern kind of go over. They have such wildly varying casting costs because of the way that like some cost reducers work, or the way that like they just generate a bunch of mana, and then against Storm or whatever, you need to counter Past in Flames, or you need to counter
Manamorphose, or Gifts Ungiven, or Baral, or even the cantrips. And
if you have the wrong casting cost card at the wrong spot, it's pretty bad. Like, you just hit the wrong card, right? Or you don't have the ability to hit the right card. Now, it also suffers, like Force Will, from that card disadvantage, and I'm trying to mitigate that with the Standstill in hopes that the burst of cards I gain from the Standstill will kind of recoup me from being able to counter stuff with the Disruption Shoal, while also giving me a way to counter a 1-drop card that Ross could play for effectively 0 mana, which allows me to untap and play a Standstill, and I don't have very many cards left in my hand, so even if Ross breaks it, I don't have to discard it on the next turn, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah, so Standstill is a tempo negative play, and it's a one that sort of freezes the tempo of the game, so you don't want to play it when you're behind. Shoal stops you from falling behind, which is nice, and when you have to tap out to cast it, if your opponent breaks it immediately, you can fall behind on the battlefield because you've spent 2 mana not affecting it. So the Disruption Call allows you to utilize some of that card advantage to regain the lost tempo, and then you end up, ahead a little bit, or at least going into a long game where you're favored because you're a control deck with a lot of powerful cards in the end game.
Yeah. Now, this version that I've put together, obviously, I think I've missed a few things. Even while just talking with Ross, I think I should have at least 2, maybe even up to 4 copies of Fairy Conclave, just another creature land that allows me to attack, even Wandering Fumarole, because I'm splashing red. And the tap lands don't hurt as badly if I play them, because I'm playing Disrupting Shoal to counter those 1-drops. So as long as I don't draw 2 lands to enter the battlefield tapped, I think it's more than fine. So maybe a slight deck building misstep, but at the same time, we're just trying to throw stuff together, and I'm really hoping that the Mutavaults really shine through here. The one other card I'm playing, it's a weird one of Riptide Laboratory. Now, Ross actually sent this one to me on Sunday night. He said, "Hey, you should play Riptide Laboratory," and I didn't know what the heck he was talking about. And then, I sent back some mean response, like, "Leave me alone!" Like, what are you talking about?
It was meaner than that.
Yeah, but this is a PG-rated show, sir. I also got a bunch of people at the bar at the time to send him the same message, which is...
I was alarmed. I was like, what did I do?
But after reading the message boards Monday morning, I was like, oh, that's what he was talking about. We're building decks featuring potential Modern Horizons reprints. Yeah. But the card Riptide Laboratory returns a wizard from play to your hand. And Snapcaster Mage being a really strong one with it is pretty sweet. But it also works well with Vendilion Click. And I've included 1 copy of Spellstutter Sprite. It's kind of like a 2-mana counter your 1-drop.
No Venser Shaper Savant?
No, but another deck building misstep, perhaps.
That's one of the cards they used to pair with Riptide Laboratory in old Extended. There were mono blue decks that used Lab to a lot of success. So,
right.
But the Snapcaster is a new one, and that one works real nicely with it. So excited to see that pairing. On my side, I am trying out the card Wild Growth. We've seen Arbor Elf Utopia Sprawl be this really powerful, explosive mana engine. You can get up to 4 mana on turn 2.
Right.
You play Arbor Elf turn 1, play a land on turn 2, use 1 land to enchant the other with Sprawl, and then untap it. After making 2, you get up to 4, and then the next turn you have 6. So a huge engine. Wild Growth gives it some added consistency, which is an issue for some of these decks.
Right.
And it gives you 8 1-mana mana accelerants that don't die to Lightning Bolt and Gut Shot, and all these removal spells, so you can play through Disruption more easily. And while I could have put it into the Gruul land destruction deck that we've seen a lot, won an open last year, I decided to play one of my secret favorite fringe decks in the entirety of Modern format. This is Mono Green Devotion. So sometimes you see it with Tooth and Nail. I like to go with Genesis Wave because it's a little cleaner. You don't have to play all the Tooth and Nail targets. And more fun.
Yeah.
So we got Burning Tree Emissary, Wistful Selkie, to power out some devotion. We've got Oath of Nissa to dig for Nykthos, as well as other important pieces.
Plus, it stays on the battlefield for Nykthos, which is huge.
Garruk Wildspeaker is really good with Nykthos and Utopia Sprawl Arbor Elf.
And Nissa's gets it too.
Yep, and Oath finds it. So there we got ways to ramp really, really quickly, and we can either land a Genesis Wave and start chaining from there. You can actually get Genesis Wave into lands and Nykthos and Eternal Witness, return Genesis Wave, keep going kind of thing.
Yep.
Or I have some Summoners packs, which if I'm trying to go for a big devotion turn, I can find Burning Tree Emissary and essentially turn it into a ritual.
Yep.
Or I can just Summoners pack for my win, whether that be Primeval Titan to find Kessig Wolf Run and my 1 red source on the splash, or I can just find 1 Crater Hoof and cast that. And I've got a bunch of little creatures, the Emissaries, the Eternal Witnesses, the Wistful Selkies that stay around, and those all end up killing them. So a really sweet deck, hoping with the added power and consistency that Wild Growth provides, can maybe finally be good enough. I've tested this deck for some Modern Protoss before.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
All right. So with that said, we are going to get to the match. But if you have any cards that you think might actually be cool to reprint that could go in either of these decks, we'd love to hear them. Just hit us and in the chat. Rob's going to be picking a few to ask us at the end, and Russ and I will give you the verdict. I know there's some things I already missed, but I'm sure there's more that you've caught just from thinking about it. It's a great thought experiment and one that I'm very excited to do. So you're on the plate. You lost last round. And again, Ross.
I know.
We're playing for the marbles. Do, 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 do. All right, there you go. You got to win them back.
I've got a solid hand here on the play. It can potentially be disrupted, but can also play through disruption.
My hand's great.
Okay, I'll start on Forest Arborelf.
I was dead. Your turn.
Misty Rain, Forest Arborelf.
Sure.
That's the turn.
All right, I will. Ooh, that was a nice draw. Ooh. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and kill your other Arborelf.
Okay,
Your turn.
let's crack this on end step. Go to 19, find our one Stomping Ground, just in case. You know, in removal-heavy matchups like this, just naturally drawing the Wolf Run and Stomping Ground can be a way to easily win the game. Just turn all your little mana creatures and Wistful Selkies and stuff into real threats.
Yeah.
So,
Is there any perhaps desire to play one copy of Inkmoth Nexus as well, so you could do the old school Kessig Wolf Run, or sorry, what was it called? Wolf Run ramp,
Yeah.
where you Primeval Titan into Inkmoth Wolf Run, and you just use your fetch lands to usually fetch up the one Stomping Ground.
usually have enough mana that your creatures kill them anyway. So you already have enough colorless lands. Like, I only...
there's a chance that they're like sort of hitting you with Supreme Verdict and things like that, and then you play Titan, and then they kill that, but then you just still have Nexus, It's one land.
You already have 5 colorless lands because of Nykthos in
That's
a 21 land deck.
That's fair.
So it's a pretty big cost. Okay, let's start jamming some Wistful Selkies.
Oh, crap.
Nice Lightning Bolt deck.
Yep.
You can go.
Draw. All right, your turn.
Okay, attack for 2.
I'm at
18. Another one.
I'm going to... Ooh, this is... Oh, you're going to love this. I've drew a click. I'm going to shoal, pitch, click.
Okay.
Snap, bolt this.
Okay.
Untap. Standstill. Attack.
17 to 18.
Go. Whew. Whew, I got the...
Crack the standstill.
All right. All right, I will opt in response.
Yep.
Bottom this spell snare that has no use. Okay, it resolves.
Okay. Cards in hand?
I have 4.
You mean 5?
5, sorry.
See, I also 5. You cracked a standstill. We're even on cards.
Right.
Wistful Selkie, too strong.
Yeah.
You can go.
I agree. Wolf's Sucky is good.
Yeah, I'll take 2. 15.
All right. Misty, and your go.
Attack for 2.
16, 15.
Yep. I'll play a Nykthos, use it to make 3 green.
Mm-hmm.
Play the 4th Wistful Selkie.
Fetch.
15 all. This is getting cryptic.
I believe so. So it puts me at 15?
Yes, it's 15 all.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to counter it. I'm pretty sure I'm just going to counter draw.
Okay. Pass turn.
Attack for 2.
13.
A shock at 13.
Yep.
Your turn.
Flipping the script on the race.
Yeah, and that's one cool thing about the way this deck is built with the instant speed threats, the bolts, the snapcasters. The extra cards, can turn me into like a tempo deck.
I will Utopia Sprawl this forest.
Let's see, that actually gains you a mana off the Nykthos, right?
Indeed it does.
In response. Maybe I should have just bolted your Wistful Selkie main phase. I might have messed up. It's not really. Yeah, I'm just going to bolt the Selkie because it keeps you at mana neutral right now on the Nykthos if I do it. And I don't really want to counter that.
So with this on the stack, if I wanted to use Nykthos to make 3 green, I'd end with 3 mana. This way I end up with 4 and still have 3 green. So I'll let the bolt resolve.
Okay.
And then I will...
Oh, with this on the stack still. Because he didn't float the mana there, I'm actually going to click you while you have 3 mana, and I can take like a Garruk Wildspeaker or something if I need to. Ooh, Eternal Witness. So you can Eternal Witness back Selkie, or you can just cast Garrick. If you Garrick untaps 3 Witness, okay, I will take a Witness. Okay.
So I can go for the Garrick line. That is a bit risky because...
Does it tick up to 4, right?
Yeah, it ticks up to 4, so if Todd is able to answer my Eternal Witness, I will lose it. But I drew a Wild Growth, so that seems good. That's Wild Growth, the Utopia Sprawl, the Forest.
Okay.
I guess this is a little risky against Cryptic Command.
I mean, your whole deck is risky against Cryptic Command. You kind of have to do that kind of thing. I guess in this spot you don't need to.
I'm going to play the Garrick, though.
All right, I'm going to Disruptor Shoal pitch Hieroglyphic Illumination.
Okay, that I'm okay with.
Yeah,
Pass the turn.
We have to beat the Eternal Witness, but I think that big tempo play here might actually let our click steal the game. All right, we'll play an Opt. We'll keep the Standstill. We'll play it. And attack for 5.
Go to 8.
Go.
Okay, Standstill is going to have to be good. Eternal Witness.
Draw 3.
Yep.
I will cast an Opt in response. We didn't get back. Okay, that's fine.
I'm going to Witness back. I think I just want to get Selkie. I guess I do. I have to play her on Bolt or Snapcaster. I have to block the Snap on this turn. And so if I'm going to do that anyway, maybe I'm supposed to get back the Garrick so that I can block, have this Garrick around, and then Genesis Wave later. I guess if I Garrick, this is 4 green, so this would be no mana floating. I can untap the Forest that's double enchanted and then Nykthos. I have 6 Devotion at that point, and then make 8 mana. I could actually Genesis Wave for 5 this turn. I think that sounds perfect. So I'm going to get back the Garrick and cast it.
All right, I'm going to Disruptor Shoal pitching Hieroglyphic Illumination.
You can go.
All right, attack for 5.
So I lose out on 2 mana this way. I essentially lose out on 1, right? Because the Nykthos, when I have 4 Devotion, nets 1 extra mana, because it costs 3 total to activate, and it'll net 4. So I'll lose out on 1 mana by blocking, but in doing so, I think I buy myself more time, so I go to 5.
All right, play Search for Skanta.
Okay, pretty happy to see that. On my upkeep, actually, I kind of want to draw a land, so I'll just draw.
The one Search for Skanta is kind of like a 5th Standstill. Not sure how good it is, but... Well, you killing me?
1 card in hand?
1 card in hand.
That was a pretty good draw.
All right, you're 4.
Do I... Is your last card a counterspell? Probably is. You're so lucky. What do you got in your graveyard that I have to be afraid of from Snapcaster?
Nothing.
Nothing, really.
Yep.
You do have Snap Bolt. So I kind of have... I don't have any way to block the click. I actually don't have a flyer in my main deck, which might have been an oversight.
Yeah, Hornet Queen here would be tight. Plus, Hornet Queen has like 4 green in it, right? For,
3 green.
3?
I have a Hornet Queen in my sideboard.
Sure. It was one of the cooler cards of Devotion when it was in Standard.
If I'm dying to Snap or Bolt regardless, I think I just go for everything. So I'll cast Summon Respect.
Okay.
Find Burning Tree Emissary and cast it.
Yep. So that gets you 2 green, which actually
it gets me green-red. So now I make 4 off of this, 7, 8, Genesis Wave for 5.
Okay. So shuffle up and then flip the top 5, and you can play all permanents that have 5 or less casting costs, which is basically everything in your deck except for Summoner's Pact and Genesis Wave, right?
And the 2 big things. I'm 1 short on Primeval Titan.
Right. So what can you hit that saves you from this Lightning Bolt? All right. 1, 2. Ooh, that's a good start. 3, 4. Ooh. Hold on. Am I dead? I'm at 13.
No, you're not. If this was Eternal Witness, you might be dead. You want to play out of see if this is Eternal Witness?
No, I win. I use so many resources just to counter those Garricks and stuff.
I mean, you played multiple
this win. I know. I deserve this win. My deck. Played great. It did literally exactly what I wanted it to do, why I built it the way I did. I literally am playing Hieroglyphic Illumination to give myself more force for Disrupting Shoal. Because I have too many ones. We did it! All right, sideboarding. Let's figure. I don't actually have a lot for this matchup. I have some Blood Moons, but those don't really work against basic Forest. Abrade, Shatterstorm, Surgical, Dragon's Claw. I built my sideboard with a much different style of deck in mind, but Anger of the Gods could be pretty good. So we're going to bring that in.
How many clicks are in your deck?
2 or 3.
My normal plan against control is to go like Finks and Nissa. Mm-hmm. Because they're like good permanents that provide devotion, and they combo well together, and they gain me a lot of value over the course of the game. And you just play that game instead of trying like Genesis Wave against all this disruption. So I'm definitely going to trim down to 1 Genesis Wave. We got to leave the Misers in.
Yeah.
And if that's the case...
Let's see. So Dryad Arbor only untaps any land or just forests? Or not Dryad Arbor. Arbor Elf.
Arbor Elf untaps forest
only, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna cut my Threads of Disloyalty and 3 Spell Snares because they only really take Burning Tree or counter Burning Tree. We're just gonna bring in some spot removal that's better against other things. But all right, sorry. You can continue. I was just trying to think out loud.
I'm trying to think if I want any of these 2 targets, like Summoner's Pact targets, and leave in some pacts. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'm just supposed to stop being a combo deck and bring this out and like 1 pact and then bring out the emissaries as well and just be a value deck.
Sure.
Sounds reasonable to me. And then so this is 8. I think this card just seems insane against you if it resolves.
Oh yeah, no, it's game over. You have a Cavern in your deck, right?
I do not.
There it is, deck building oversight, but that's okay.
No, there's no way you can put a Cavern in this deck.
Just 1.
Oh, you already have 4 Nykthos and a Kessicle for your only 21 land deck.
Taps for green. When you cast a creature that you want to cast, it taps for green.
I would like to have some defense against Vendilion Click. I guess Rorikthar just is that, so I probably only need the 1.
I mean, I honestly don't think I can beat a Resolved Hornet Queen or Rorikthar, and I think there's a chance you just want both, but I could be wrong. I'm fine being wrong in this spot.
I mean, I guess they're both better than Primeval Titan. I could cut the Primetime too. Because these are like, I'm essentially just cutting all my combo cards and becoming a more resilient deck. Mm-hmm. That makes sense to me. But leaving in a Miser's Genesis Wave because that's how I roll.
Sure. I mean, Genesis Wave's like fun card. Might as well.
Yeah.
All right. While we're kind of chilling here, we got any cards or comments or questions?
Yeah. Somebody was wondering about Portent. Do you think that would be printable?
We talked a little bit about that on Tuesday. We didn't get super deep into it. Suffice it to say that Mishra's Bauble is currently, as far as I can tell or recall, Mishra's Bauble is the only card in Modern that has the slow trip effect where you crack it or cast it, and then later on you get the draw step on like the beginning of the next upkeep. It was kind of a throwback to a different era, and when it was printed in Cold Snap, because even then there hadn't been a card in a while that functioned like that. I personally think that Portent would be not welcome. I mean, honestly, I'd much rather them just unban Ponder before they made Portent, because even though it's worse than Ponder, I just think that slow trip is weird and I don't like it. And also, it works really well with Terminus, which I don't like. But working well with Terminus is not a huge deal. I just hate the card Portent in general, so.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see anything like that. I don't think it would be really good. Cheap cantrips are already problematic. I don't know what Soothsaying does.
A 1-man blue enchantment. People try to play it instead of Sensei Divine top one's top got banned. Spend X. Look at the top X cards of your library and put them back in any order.
Yeah, that's not good.
And then spend 5 to shuffle your deck.
Not a good card.
Yeah, I used to just as a joke, just spend 5, shuffle my deck. All right, well, this is the sideboard I'm going to do. Spell Snare out. He doesn't have 2s. Threads is there as a 3-drop for, Disrupting Shoal. But I also want the spells that I have in my deck have utility without Disrupting Shoal. The way that this is going to play out, there's a chance that my disrupting shoals are significantly worse after sideboard because I'm missing a 3, can't counter Selkie, or Nissa, or I don't have a 1 to stop an elf for a wild growth on 1, or Utopia Sprawl. But I don't know. I don't really know what to do. I could just leave my deck as is. That's basically my 2 options, and I think people over sideboard more than under sideboard. But having Anger of the Gods to sweep up your Wistful Selkies and stuff, those can sometimes just kind of overwhelm me.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a really nice one to have here. My opening hand is fine. Similar to what we had in game 1. Not ideal, but it'll play.
I'm going to cut the Abrades. I don't think they're very good. I'm going to leave in 1 Spell Snare, even though it has, as far as I can tell, 0 targets now. So
Correct.
0 targets?
Actual 0.
Okay. Well, I'll just cut 1 Abrade for 1 Threads of Disloyalty to give me 1 more 3 for my Disrupting Shoals, which I think I do need. It's a very delicate balance when you have a card like Disrupting Shoal to make sure you have all the casting costs covered. And I don't have that many 3s, and I literally put a Threads of Disloyalty in my main deck because I needed another 3. So, okay. All right. Well, you can go ahead and start, I guess.
we're pushing it on time, Todd.
We are. It's not my fault. It's kind of my fault. Is it my fault? Well, this is a very normal-ish hand that I'm going to keep, but I'm going to get absolutely destroyed. Okay. Go.
Selkie.
Response, I'm going to cast an Opt.
You're 19.
Yep. Now, if I have if I find a Disrupting Shoal, I can counter it, but here we may just be digging for Anger and just kind of let these creatures go in the early turns. The problem is if he sticks a Nissa or a Garruk, it's going to be hard for me to grind through just like the normal Magic. You know, he's just playing normal Magic. All right. Results.
Pass the turn.
I'm going to just go ahead and abrade this. Your turn. The Selkie only really gains some mana if he finds a Nykthos and has another thing, and I'd rather just keep him off of mana here if I can.
Sprawl the Forest.
Yeah.
Name green.
Yep.
Attack for 2.
I'm at 17.
Pass the turn.
Okay. All right, your turn.
4 green with Nykthos, Rorkthar.
Yep, you win.
I was going to play Hornet Queen next turn.
Okay. That's cool. That's cool. I actually had a Disrupting Shoal. I actually drew...
You didn't have Frost Titan to pitch to your Disrupting Shoal?
No,
that's a deck building oversight. Should have thought of that one.
I mean, what if there is a 6-mana card from Modern Horizons that has like Delve or something? That'd be kind of cool to pitch a Disrupting Shoal. But it's not going to be good most of the time. But if Primeval Titan shows up a bunch, 6-drops are kind of tough for me to beat, Ross. I don't know what to tell you, man.
They're real big.
Congrats.
I'm going to bring this last one in because we're playing for the marbles. No more cutesy Genesis Wave. We got to try to win this one.
Aww.
As much as I love Genesis Wave, it's honestly one of my favorite cards. I don't know why. I'm just tickled every time it resolves. You just like flip over your deck, put it in play.
And sometimes you win, sometimes you don't. Most of the time you win.
Yeah.
6, 7. This is a deck building error.
Tom Ross says Expansion Explosion counters the Rurikthar.
Damn you right. Tom Ross coming in with the heater. A card that I literally had in my deck two matches ago. Hurry up, Ross. It's almost time to be done, Ross. Pass.
If you expansion... If I lost to an Expansion Explosion being pitched to a Disrupting Shoal, I would just quit. That's retirement time.
Does it counts as all 6, right? This is I'm at 19. I'm playing fast.
Arbor Elf.
I'm gonna
actually I'm just gonna do this.
What?
I don't have any 4s to ramp into, and I have 3s. I don't want to die to a bolt.
Go.
So fetch for a forest, wild growth this thing. Is that good?
Yeah.
Play a Wistful Selkie.
Okay. I will Bolt, Whistle, Sulky.
Yep. I'll draw a card.
All right, so I'm at 19. You're at 19. This is dead.
Hey, I should, because of Cryptic Command, I should just do it like this. Like float a green, put it on this one, and then play the Selkie. I don't want to like ramp it to huge things.
Marble.
You're the worst. I'm a 19.
How am I the worst?
Are you at 19 as well?
Yes.
You're one tapped, yeah.
Fine, whatever. Go. I don't want to be that guy.
Green floating, Arbor Elf.
Sure.
Kitchen Finks.
Sure. All right, you're at
I'm
21.
21. I'll go to 18, get Stomping Ground, play another Arbor Elf.
Okay. I'll kill both and draw a card.
That's messed up.
Hui. Hua. Yeah. Your turn. How many cards in your hand?
2 or 3.
I think you should be at 20 now because you fetched again.
I'm at 18 because of the Stomping Ground.
Oh, you got a stomping ground too. So 18 and I'm still at 19.
Yep.
Okay.
Attack for 3.
16, 18.
Eternal Witness.
Counter and I'm just gonna bounce the forest. I guess you get to float mana no matter what. Like if I bounce this, if you haven't played a land yet, you still get up to 3. Maybe I just counter draw, but I mean, knocking you off of mana for future is better, right? Has to be. All right, I'll target the force, so you can float to play it.
Go.
Okay, good. No punish. Love not getting punished.
You can cut the tension with a knife.
Yeah, this is nice. Your turn. Dude, the marbles are such a good addition to the broadcast. I'll say that.
Attack for 3.
All right, I'm going to go to 13.
Sprawl this forest.
2 cards.
2 cards.
I'm just going to counter it.
Pass.
I'm going to cycle this. I'm going to bolt the Kitchen Finks.
Comes back.
Go
Gain
to
2.
20. I'm going to play my land, play an opt, bottom, play. Oh, wow, I messed up. Takes these backsies. Holy crap. 1 second. This is in my hand still. I'm going to fetch a mountain and cast an Anger of the Gods. So the bolt was not cast.
So you opted first and found the
Yeah,
anger.
opt is first, cast the Anger, and then I'm going to cast a Standstill because I'm not a big idiot.
So I'm at 18.
Yeah. Your turn.
Pass.
All right, cut.
You're good.
All right, draw for turn.
Yep.
And hit you for 4.
14.
Go. I'm at 12, I think.
12? Yeah, because
I
you fetched.
for the anger. Unfortunately, I don't have.
Okay, thanks.
Command. Yeah, that's fine. Draw 3.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gain 2, go to 16.
Yeah.
You can go.
All right, now I'll bolt things. So you go to
18.
18. Tap, draw. Electrolyze Sphinx and you.
17.
Play another Standstill. Go.
Arbor Elf.
Crack this. Draw 1. 2, 3. Results.
Pass.
Here, 18,
Yeah, 17.
17.
The electrolyze.
All right, I'm gonna cycle illumination.
Yep.
Draw. Go. Draw step. Click you.
God, you're the luckiest person alive.
I mean, I also have a cryptic command, so it's not like you were really getting anything through this this turn, but
Yeah, I just need to draw land in like 17 draw steps.
you know.
I just kept drawing Utopia Sprawls and Arbor Elves.
Wow. Wow. One, two, three, four. I'll let you keep this and bolt this still during draw step. 2, 4. Garrick, untap. Can't play anything else. I can attack and kill Garrick. But do I want to just let you have one of those? Probably not. So, yeah, let's just take the Rourke since I can't beat it once it sticks.
So everything came in the wrong order this game. You have 6 in hand.
Yep.
Okay, 2, 4. Primeval Titan.
And gonna counterbalance the forest with a Utopia Sprawl.
Pass.
All right, I will play a Riptide Lab. Gonna steal this, attack you for 7.
I'm at 10.
Here you go.
Garrick,
Yep.
make a beast.
Oh, no. I thought you were about to use a dice as
No.
a beast. I'm sorry.
Fetch to 9, get a forest, play Arbor Elf.
Okay.
Pass the turn.
Bolts, you.
6.
You have no cards?
Correct.
Draw. Is that better? No, I'm bolting this. That was stupid.
9.
Yep. Draw for turn. All right. So I'm not going to Riptide Lab this turn, so let's tap this, play a Hieroglyphic. It's a Braid the Elf to keep you off of 6. Attack 2 at Garrick, 4 at you, put you to 5.
Yep.
All right, here you go.
You got it.
Yes! Yes! Wobble!
As soon as land was not a relevant draw step, I drew 3 in a row.
I'm sorry, man. That really sucks. That I have the marbles for the second week. Or sorry, second time in a row. Look, this is the first time I've won back-to-back marbles, okay? And I'm not going to rub it in your face after this, but it just feels good to have marbles for a whole week. Are you kidding me? Anyway, so now I know how you feel because you beat me for a month and a half straight. Anyway, a lot of new stuff swirling around in my brain right now. Don't really know how to process it. So, Rob, just ask us a few cards, and then we're going to call it a day because we're over time already, and we got stuff to do.
All right. So what do you think of Buried Alive?
We talked about it a little bit. I think with Arclight Phoenix, it's too good, so I would just not bother. It's too good.
It's also great with like Vengevine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's okay with Vengevine. I think that there's a lot of fair synergy graveyard stuff you can do with it, thanks to like Narcomoeba, Blood Gas, that kind of thing. Like you can just go get 3 Narcomoebas and they just enter the battlefield, which is really cool. Yeah. Like if you're gonna play, like there might be. I actually think that a Dredge Arclight Phoenix deck could be really good in Legacy, just because of how it works with like Cabal Therapy and stuff, and it also triggers Prize Amalgam when you bring it back. And with Faithless Looting and Lion's Eye Diamond, like you a lot of times just end up casting a lot of spells on turn 1, and then you can just bring back 3 Phoenixes, which works well with a bunch of other stuff. Anyway, if you have Buried Alive in Modern, I think it'd be too good. I don't know what it would do exactly, but it'd be too good, personally.
About Doomsday.
No.
It's just too confusing.
It's not a real Magic card. It's kind of it's like Shahrazad. It shouldn't exist. It just starts it's a different game.
Basking Rootwalla.
That one's cool.
It is really cool.
For Walla. I don't think a Madness deck would be remotely playable, but
so here's the thing, and this of course is going with cycles, right? Or themes rather. More cycling. There's a chance that if they do so Astral Slide, if I'm not mistaken, is not okay. I think I'm contradicting myself. I don't know if Astral Slide triggers on discard or if it triggers on cycling, because I know that Drakehaven is discard. So if your opponent hits you with a duress, you can spend 1 and make a Drake. And I'm not sure if your opponent makes you discard if you can get a free Astral Slide or not. But I think that those were templated the same way, where it said whenever you discard a card. So if it is like that,
Astral Slide says whenever a player cycles a card.
Okay, so a little bit different, not quite the same. So I was thinking maybe there was some cross synergy between Astral Slide cycling type things and maybe like a Madness with like discard outlets and stuff.
You're using Rootwalla to enable Vengevine for the most part.
I'm talking about for like the limited set. Why it would be in the set?
Sure.
Because I mean, while
I mean, they can print new cards like that to give you another payoff and then create that crossover. I could definitely see them printing a new cycling payoff, because I don't think Astral Slide is good enough either, or Lightning Rift.
I don't think Basking Rootwalla is a thing that we should have in Modern, personally, just because of how it enables Vengevine in older formats. Like the fact of how ridiculously it works with Vengevine and like Bazaar Baghdad just kind of scares me. And while stuff like Magus the Bazaar doesn't see play right now, like I've built weird versions of decks that did play Magus the Bazaar, and if the format is degenerate where no one's playing fair, no one has removal spells, like you can do some messed up stuff with a turn 1 Magus the Bazaar off of Gemstone Caverns or a Simian Spirit Guide. So sure, I mean, and maybe that's a worthwhile endeavor, but it also kind of starts to restrict design space. Like right now, I'm terrified of them printing any ritual ever again because of Arclight Phoenix. And we see things like Hangerback Walker, Walking Ballista, even Endless One as 0 mana creatures that can go into the Bridgevine decks that create a bunch of zombies while also enabling Vengevine. And I think Basking Rootwalla just actually takes that like a step further in like a scary way. So I don't know.
Okay. One more.
Dak Faden.
Love it. Yeah. Had it Tuesday. It was frickin' fantastic.
It was great, but not overpowered. I'm in for that one.
Yeah. All right. Well, it was a fun experimental week. I think we're going to be done with this for now. We're just going to wait for them to kind of tell us what they're going to put into the set as opposed to trying to speculate. Personally, I'm really excited for the new cards, but honestly, the idea of some of these old gems making their way back into Modern, I've been playing Magic for almost 20 years now, and back when I started, Modern wasn't a thing, and we had Extended, and that was like a rotating old format, right? And over time, I saw like cards I loved just falling out of the format time and time again, and Modern said no, we're not going to do that anymore, but it also meant that old cards can't make it in, and if they're too good for Standard, that meant they were too good for Modern. And this is just going to be a huge breath of fresh air. 240 something new cards all coming into Modern, and most of them are reprints, I would guess. At least half of them, probably. And that's crazy.
Yes. So I just think the landscape of Modern is going to change completely in the next 6 months. So we're going to have a really exciting time for that format, which is nice. Normally you see small changes. One deck comes in, and that might make a big change. We've seen it with humans, with Grixis Shadow, now with Izzet Phoenix. But it's never more than like one deck sort of warping the metagame around it and causing changes because of a couple new cards here or there. Mm-hmm. This is going to be the biggest wholesale change we've seen probably ever since the format's inception. So really great time to be playing Modern. We're going to be bringing you a lot of it on the SCG Tour. If you want to play Modern as is, you can check out SCG Regionals this weekend. Yep. Go to starcgames.com/regionals to find a location near you.
And to be clear, you cannot use any of the decks that we played today or Tuesday because they got cards in them that don't exist. So be very careful. If you're new to Modern, this ain't it. This is a whole other thing. I don't want anybody complaining that they got game lost or whatever.
Yeah. So be sure to check that out. Register early so you can get yourself one of the playmats. Usually it's first 200, I believe, for most.
Yes.
Sure. I don't want to put a number on that because we may be wrong.
It is first 200.
Yeah.
Okay.
I registered last night, so I've seen the number recently.
Nice. I know that you're going to be attending. I'm taking the weekend off because I've been traveling for casting and stuff. And weekends at home are treasure at this point. So
I got one coming up later this month, but this weekend I'll be on the road with intern Rob over there. We're going to hit up the Durham regionals at Atomic Empire. So if you're there, you can come up and say hi. Hopefully I do well. And next week we'll be back at it prepping you for SCG Philadelphia, which will be Modern as well.
We are going to do a little bit different, though. We are going to be testing out the London Mulligan rule next week. Now, we were planning on doing it this week, but this idea just really caught both of us and got us into this whirlwind. And we are very excited about the potential for new cards in Modern. So, but next week, if you think the London Mulligan is too good, we're going to check it out and see for ourselves. We'll probably put a little bit of spin on the current Modern decks that exist while still giving you the normal Modern experience of what you can expect at your next Modern tournament, but with testing out whether like Dredge is too good or variations on combo decks. So make sure to tune in for that. But that's all I got, and I think that's all we got. So from everyone here at Star City Games, I just want to say thank you for watching. We'll be back next Tuesday, 1 p.m. every Tuesday and Thursday, 1 p.m. here on the SCG Tour. And if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to hit that follow button, and we'll see you next week.